Hey guys, coldbrew here. Welcome back to another raid video. If you thought that stone skin is overpowered, then let me wait and show you what is up with Flarium, okay? The new Grim Forest is coming, and the new set that will be part of the grind, I believe, very similar to how we grind the Cursed City. That's how I think it's this new mode is gonna be in terms of farming the gear, like the Merciless set, for example. So this new set is just insane. We'll get this started and I'll comment as I'm reading through this, but it looks insane from the description. Okay, let me show you. Boom, just like that. The Green Forest artifact set that is called the Mercurial set. Okay, this is the only set we've been given information as of now, and it's going to be a variable set, meaning you can get up to 9 pieces. You can mix and match the pieces to get the 9-piece bonus. So it's not just the accessories or the gear, it's both to get the bonuses. So the way that this works is as you go up the pieces, you get the 9-piece bonus, with the 9-piece bonus being the most insane part. So you get resistance for the start, HP percent, then the 3 pieces give you 8% speed, which is not a lot. It's not as much as other sets. And then we have the 4-piece bonus, which gives you 1 total guard stack at the start of the round, when each stack blocks all incoming damage and any associating effects. So this is not like Stone Skin, guys. This is not like Stone Skin. Stone Skin, when you have it, you immediately get protected. On the four pieces of Stone Skin, you get protected from incoming damage with, basically, imagine it like a huge protection that is not impossible to beat down, but it's still there, okay? And then it's susceptible to the bombs, susceptible to the HP burns and all that, but it's still much more powerful than just 1 stack of blocking incoming damage. So that's how this new stack of protection is gonna work, okay? This protection of the total guard means when incoming damage comes through, let's say it was 100,000 damage, it's gonna block just that and any associating effects that is coming through. For example, 100,000 damage and decreased attack, it's going to block both, okay, from this skill. If it's a double hitting skill, it's going to block, let's say, 100,000 and the decreased attack, but then the second hit, it's going to do again 100,000 and decreased attack. Those will not be blocked. While the Stone Skin, which most likely have blocked both of those in terms of the damage, and you would see the small reduction in the Stone Skin shield amount, okay? Depending, there's a lot of factors on that, but I'm just saying it on how that will work. The 5-piece bonus gives you speed, 6-piece gives you 2 total guard stacks, the 7-piece bonus gives you resistance, the 8-piece 12% more speed, and then the final 9-piece bonus gives you 3 total guard stacks, and then places a total guard stack at the start of this champion's turn if they have no total guard stack. So if you get hit, then you take a turn, you'll have 1 total guard stack back, which is much stronger than how you would imagine. Let's say you have Stone Skin on, that is gone after it's gone, okay? While total guard will be coming back up 1 stack though, only when you take a turn, and that is on the 9-piece bonus, which is much harder to get good stats working, but it's still very much powerful. The thing with total guard, guys, is, as is explained a little bit further below, the thing with this buff is that you can receive multiple stacks of this, okay? So you get up to 3. Each total guard stack will block all single instance of damage from an enemy champion skill, but also all associated effects such as debuffs, except and all the debuffs except for increased cooldown. So it says all the debuffs here except for increased cooldown, even from skills that do not inflict damage. So imagine if somebody tries to place a debuff on your champion, you got total guard on, you will be immune to those. You will also be immune to polymorph, okay? Because of the total guard. That's how this works. And the way to remove total guard will be through damage. So unless you do damage, you won't be able to remove it, from my understanding. But I do understand that this will be able to be reduced, and I'll go in depth on how that it's going to work with specific champions facing it in theory. Okay, this is all just theory though. Unless we actually test this set out, we won't know for 100% sure. Okay, so a champion will lose a stack of total gold whenever they would take damage from another champion skill. This includes damage taken via ally protection buffs, reflect damage buffs, as well as passive skills that share or reflect damage. So if it's a champion that can have mitigation of damage, they will be losing the stack of total guard. So for example, if you imagine UDK, he will be getting his total guard reduced because he has that way to mitigate that first hit from a single target, and he takes the first hit. Okay, so imagine that he'll be losing his total guards because of that. So it's much better to have him in the stone skin, just in theory, from what my understanding. So a champion will not lose a stack of total guard when they take damage from masteries, blessings, or relics. If a champion is under both total guard and block damage, when they receive damage from an enemy champion skill, they will lose a stack of total guard. So if you got block damage on and total guard, you lose total guards first. So that when you take damage, so that in a way will protect you a little bit from debuffs, but it won't just have you have always the total guard up, and that helps because of certain combos that I could imagine where you have total guard plus block damage, and that would make it too strong. And obviously all bosses will ignore total guard, that is a given. So before I go into the relics, guys, that are coming, I wanted to go through a little bit and give you guys my thoughts on this. So how is this going to change the meta? Well, until we actually have it, we won't know for sure. Until many players have it, we won't know for sure. The same thing with pinpoint and stone skin we had before. It's a little bit different than how this is going to be. So I'll give you guys an example of how strong this total guard is going to be. If we compare it to how Fabian is, he's very strong right now against the meta, which is basically lots of stone skin. You got lots of buffs going on, and then Lord Entertainer Fabian comes through and reduces the duration of all buffs by 3 turns with a single target hit here. So my understanding is that he'll still be able to reduce the number of total guard. But if total guard is only reduced by damage received, then Fabian will only be able to reduce the duration of the buff, total guard buff, by 1 turn because of his attack. But these are just assumptions. The way that I imagine this is that he'll still be very strong. Fabian will still be very strong against total guard because it's going to be a single hit. Even if he doesn't reduce the buffs by 3 turns, so the total guard by 3 turns, he'll still increase your cooldowns by 3 turns, and that will basically still lock you up. Okay, how Fabian works right now against Stone Skin is that he basically removes all buffs. Okay, that's why he's insanely strong in PvP, and you'll see him in lots of teams. Plus insane aura, which can work in Siege. Okay, so lots of PvP combos come through Siege, and you'll see Fabian being like #1 in there. So that is the one thing that I have in mind. We also have Niame here, the Spear of Nyrisa. So she's like a relatively new champion added to the game, which places a block damage buff on allies for 1 turn at the start of the round. So imagine if you have this together with the total guard, you would basically be protected by both damage and debuffs. And if you have this as a protected buff, it would be an insane combo to have both of those. So that's why they made total guard be used first before block damage comes through, so that way the block damage from total guard goes away, and also the blocking of the debuffs. And you'll still be able to block the debuffs, it's just that that's going to go away and you basically lose that. So have that in mind, guys, if you're using Niame here for PvP. But I still think that the way the total guard is going to work, it's going to make it so that you'll have it as a combo, probably together with another set. So you probably see total guard together with stone skin. So you'll see 4 pieces and then 4 pieces. Because of those two are 9-piece sets. You'll be able to mix and match very much freely, much more easily to put the two together. So you have one total protection against basically debuffs. So not just crack control debuffs, the way that pinpoint works. And then you'll also have protection from 1 total amount of damage. And then you'll have the protection coming in through stone skin. So it's pretty cool. The total guard set is going to be amazing. I still think the 4-piece bonus is going to work much more into the meta comparing it to the 9-piece until we get rolling with unlocking all the combos, okay, for this new mode that is coming, the Grim Forest. So by the way, I have some more info for the Grim Forest I want to show you guys. They did some announcements over on Discord about it, but I'll cover the new relics and then we'll come to that, because I want to explain on how the normal mode and hard mode of Grim Forest is going to work in terms of the squad selection. So this was just announced on Discord, so if you guys haven't seen it, we'll cover it right now. So let's jump back into the relics. I want to show you guys the relics. Just a second. Boom. Right here. So we're coming back. We're going to show you guys the relics. We're going to have the rare relics. These are going to be fine. I mean, the wearer has a 20% chance to ignore defense. So 20% chance. It's like the Helm Smasher mastery that we have right now. So it's going to be increasing chance. You're never going to take this relic to level 6. So it's something for the new players to have on top of whatever they had. I wish they showed us the main stats here. And I wonder if they do show them on Discord, because I do think I've seen a more detailed post. Nope, it's the same thing. Okay, so let's carry on showing these. So Green Forest, the Hoarder's Cauldron. So 20% chance to ignore 10% of the target's resistance when applying debuffs. Again, it's a chance to actually work. It's gonna work for the new players out there, but not so much for the more, you know, mid-game, end-game players. It's very, very hard to replace any of the other relics that you guys are gonna have. So the epic ones, look at this, Compass of Annexia. So whenever the wearer is under a crowd control debuff, all turn meter field effects increase the wearer turn meter by an additional 20%. This is actually very strong, just boosting your turn meter by an additional amount only if you're under crowd control. So basically allowing you to get your turn through faster. It's limiting, but it does show some sort of, you know, nice boost. It's good when you have other speed boosters in there to boost you up, but obviously if you're using this on a damage dealer, I don't think you will. All right, so next one up, whenever the wearer receives damage, 20% chance to heal themselves by 20% of the damage received. So this gets boosted up. Only 20% chance to heal themselves. I can see this working as a tool for solo champions you use for soloing stuff. It's going to have an additional effect of basically healing you when you take damage. It's going to be a chance, but it's at least going to be every time you take damage. If you compare it to other relics we have, well, the strongest one is the one that heals you whenever you drop under 50% health. This one, if you compare it, will heal you on a chance whenever you take damage. So you can compare the two, which one is stronger. I just think the ones we have right now are a bit stronger for the solo champs, but this is still like a pretty nice one. Again, nobody's taking it higher than level 3, level 4. Going into the legendary ones, guys, this is the Grim Forest from the Grim Forest group, by the way. The Soulmar Crystal, once per round, where has a 50% chance of activating an instant turn effect when one or more allies are killed. This is basically a reviver sort of thing where he'll get an instant turn and try to revive your champions when they die, and this is going to go to 100% chance when this happens. This can work very well. You can also use it on champions where you really want to take a turn when one of your champions dies, meaning maybe you can even use it on a damage dealer that you know has more survivability, but you want to get that chance of him getting that turn. I can see some crazy combos working now that I'm thinking about it, where you can use a champion to basically die and then get that instant turn effect because they die. You can use, let's say, Wukong, who's going to revive, get that instant turn, get your turns through, and that will allow you to basically do interesting stuff. But again, that's assuming you max it out completely, which very difficult thing to do. The next one up is the Spore Burst Rod. So whenever the wearer places a poison or a bomb, there's a 10% chance of placing a second debuff. So imagining guys, when you place a bomb, you'll have a chance to place another one. So if you take it to level 5, that's 20% additional chance, so 30% in total, to place a second bomb. It's still a small chance, if I'm going to be honest. It goes to like 35% total on the level 6. Not enough in my eyes to max it out, but still very strong at level 4, I would say, for that, just that additional bump that you can do. And it's only though from active skills, so there's no additional poisons from, let's say, a champion that places poisons at the start of the round. So imagine that. Well, that's not going to happen. All right. The last ones are the mythicals, which we'll never get, and it's the coronet of gloom. So whenever the wearer's allies are dead, places block damage on the wearer for 1 turn. 10% chance of placing this buff when a single ally dies. So this is interesting, where you place the block damage on the wearer. This happens always if everybody dies, but similar to Ugo, if you want to think about that. And then 10% chance of placing this buff when a single ally dies. This goes up and basically helps protect your reviver, I would say, for the most part. And you can use it on other champions, but I could see the revivers mostly using this just so they protect themselves and try to revive the team back up. So the wearer ignores 10% of the target's defense at the start of the round, places a perfect veil buff on the wearer for 2 turns. While under veil or perfect veil, wearer ignores an additional 5% defense. This is huge basically for damage dealers who take advantage of being under veil. I could imagine Predator using it, but Predator is not that great. But still, flat out ignoring 10% of the target's defense is amazing. So unlike the Cat's Gaze, there's no limitations to this effect. And the ignoring of the target's defense is amazing. Then this goes up to an additional 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 3. That's an additional 15% ignoring defense. And then when under perfect veil, there's another 5%. That's a ton of defense that you'll be just ignoring because of this. This lens of intangibility is just broken, I would say, in terms of just ignoring defense. So that's it in terms of the new content news. We're having news like every day, and I'll be posting more. But what other thing I wanted to cover, guys, is they've given us some info. I want to see if I can show you. They've given us some info how the squads are going to work, the squad selection. So just stick through this until the end of the video and I'll explain it. So guys, final part, this is what they've shared on Discord, and this is how we're going to be venturing into the new mode, which is going to be the Green Forest. On normal mode, you'll be able to select 10 champions per deck. On hard mode, you select 20 champions per deck. And from what they say here, so before you venture into the Green Forest, you must field 2 team decks with your best champions to create a squad. Every battle in this game mode will begin by drawing random champions from these decks. You can only build your team to take on a specific stage from their number. So from my understanding is 10 champions from the left side, 20 for hard mode, and then the same thing goes for the right side. So you'll have to have an even amount of damage dealers and supports on both sides. As you see here, basically an even number. You're not seeing just damage dealers on the right, just damage dealers on the left. From what I'm seeing here, I don't see any duplicates. So I imagine, no, there is duplicates. Okay, on the hard mode, you see there's a Chunda and there's another Chunda. So that goes out the window. You'll be able to use duplicate champions. So you can basically, if you are a whale, have them both on the left and right side. If you basically have them equally geared, and you'll be good. So let's say a Marichka Taras on the right side, you'll be okay in terms of if you always want to use those to be beating the stages. But this looks like a very interesting way of choosing your setups and going through beating the new content. I do think though that it's going to make things interesting for players without so many good champions, where they'll have to start gearing them up. And this is going to be a challenge for players. But again, there's a normal mode, there's a hard mode. So hopefully you'll be able to at least go through normal mode. Even if you're somebody who's just turning in to level 55, you'll have access to the new game mode. But then, at least then, you'll be able to beat a little bit. The same thing with the Cursed City, guys. If you are somebody who's just started playing, you should be going through the normal mode. Okay, so if you are beating the bosses here, you still get some good gear. It's not easy, but it's still something. So it's gonna be a difficult mode. It's gonna be the latest PvE mode. Hopefully they'll add it into the live arena bonuses. But until we get actually Chimera in there, I'm not seeing that they'll add this new thing in there. Guys, this was the video. Thank you all. I'll see you guys very soon. See ya.